Chapter 100, Breaking Through Adversity Pill. Since Miss Feng is unwilling to make a sincere transaction, then I will take my leave. Su Jingzhen's expression remained calm, without any flaws. As for the pill formula, whether buying or on credit, he could accept it. Even if the price was a bit high, it didn't matter. Although he wanted to gain some points from Feng Qingye, he had to have some interaction with her, even deep interaction. But at least in the initial stage, he couldn't let all the initiative be in her hands. Su Jingzhen was very clear that whether it was with Feng Qingye or Luo Yuebai, once they gained the initiative, he might really be controlled by them. At this time, he must grasp some attitude to take the initiative. Even though his cultivation level was not on par with Feng Qingye's, and even more so not on par with the entire treasure-gathering pavilion. But Feng Qingye had to consider Shuangjiang. Even though Shuangjiang had left, Feng Qingye didn't know. Even Luo Yuebai couldn't be sure if Shuangjiang was still around. Given Shuangjiang's imposing manner on the original Huyang sect square, her influence could still protect him for a long time. With this presence, the treasure-gathering pavilion wouldn't dare to use force against him. Most importantly, he and Feng Qingye and Luo Yuebai had already developed an emotional connection. Although it was only in the first stage of no hostility at the moment. But that was enough. As long as such a relationship existed, it proved that his safety in front of Feng Qingye was not a problem. Master Su, wait a moment. Seeing Su Jingzhen was really about to leave, Feng Qingye hurriedly stopped him. Qingye won't mention helping anymore. Let's focus back on the pill formula. Feng Qingye was indeed worthy of being the pavilion master of this treasure-gathering pavilion. In an instant, she had already regained control of her emotions. She knew she had been a little anxious just now. It could even be said that she had attached too much importance to this matter. Su Jingzhen didn't fall for her charm. In fact, this had already made her somewhat uncomfortable in many ways. Upon hearing Feng Qingye's words, Su Jingzhen sat back down again. He also felt a little hopeful. Currently, he only had the pill formulas for the chireplenishing pill and the green spirit pill. These first-grade pills were already easy for him to refine. Both had achieved a success rate close to 100%. His alchemy experience couldn't be improved much. Indeed, it was time to challenge a second-grade pill. And he was confident that he could succeed. Then Feng Qingye's ring flashed again. A jade slip suddenly appeared in her hand. The second-grade pills are much more precious than the first-grade ones, so Qingye only has this one second-grade pill formula, called the Breaking Through Adversity Pill. This pill can dispel the demonic obstacles in the user's heart, and is extremely effective when breaking through realms. Of course, even when not breaking through realms, it also has the effect of detoxification and healing. Pausing for a moment, Feng Qingye continued, well, this breaking through adversity pill is indeed somewhat obscure among many second-grade pills. It doesn't have many opportunities for use, but in specific situations, it might be comparable to third-grade or even fourth-grade pills. Feng Qingye played with the jade piece, and when she said this, she seemed to be somewhat longing for it. However, Su Jingzhen's brows furrowed. Listening to the effects, he knew that this thing was probably extremely obscure, and what he needed right now was something popular. It would be best if it was a consumable among second-grade pills. Accumulating experience and spirit, stones through high-volume sales. Su Jingzhen's gaze inadvertently glanced at the storage ring on Feng Qingye's finger. Having lived 2 lives, he was very accurate about these things. He knew that Feng Qingye probably had some private benefits regarding this breaking through adversity pill. It might be related to the favor she wanted from him. Otherwise, as the manager of a branch of the treasure-gathering pavilion, even in a small place like Linjiang City, she wouldn't only have one second-grade pill formula. And it just happened to be this obscure. After all, their treasure-gathering pavilion was also qualified to register alchemists, and the number of alchemists under its banner was probably second only to the Alchemist Association. Although pill formulas were extremely valuable, first and second-grade ones were probably not lacking. But at this moment, he felt somewhat helpless. because apart from the treasure-gathering pavilion, he really didn't have any other options for cooperation. He had developed an empathetic relationship with Feng Qingye, at least she wouldn't harm him. But it might not be the same if other people found out. If it's obscure, then let it be, just take the high-quality route. Muttering to himself, Su Jingzhen's gaze returned to Feng Qingye. Since this breaking through adversity pill is so precious, I don't think I can afford it with my current financial resources. If Miss Feng is willing to extend credit, then this transaction can be completed. If Miss Feng still wants to exchange it for the previous condition, then I can only wait until I accumulate enough spirit stones. He didn't even ask Feng Qingye how many low-grade spirit stones this breaking through adversity pill formula was worth. In his opinion, this one pill formula might be worth thousands of low-grade spirit stones. Haha, Master Su really doesn't give any chances. Feng Qingye continued to smile coquettishly, but with a hint of helplessness. Then she directly threw the jade slip to Su Jingzhen. Although businessmen value profit, since Master Su and I are old friends, let Master Su have the final say in this transaction. Su Jingzhen subconsciously took the jade slip, but before he could say anything, Feng Qingye added, if Master Su can successfully advance to a second-grade alchemist, then Qingye might still want to ask Master Su for help in the future. At that time, Qingye will inform Master Su of the specific reasons. If Master Su still doesn't want to help, then we can settle the deal in spirit stones for this breaking through adversity pill formula. As she said this, there was a rare hint of sincerity in Feng Qingye's tone. This surprised Su Jingzhen a bit. He was suspecting it, but he didn't expect Feng Qingye to admit it like this. But Feng Qingye had now completely handed over the choice to him. He had no reason not to accept it. Anyway, thank you very much. After putting away the breaking through adversity pill formula, Su Jingzhen didn't linger and thanked Feng Qingye before leaving directly. He didn't show any attachment. After successfully leaving the private room, Su Jingzhen finally felt relaxed. Facing Feng Qingye in the private room, the pressure on him was indeed too great. And the result he achieved today was already a pleasant surprise for him. Feng Qingye sat in the private room, watching Su Jingzhen put on his cloak and descend to the second floor. All the smiles on her face disappeared. If he can really refine the breaking through adversity pill, maybe I can really choose him. Is he a gift from heaven to me, Feng Qingye? Wait for me to come back. What is mine will eventually be mine. Muttering softly to herself, a deep hatred surged in Feng Qingye's eyes. Upon leaving the treasure-gathering pavilion and purchasing some beast meat, Su Jingzhen returned directly to Peach Blossom Alley. Despite his brief delay at the treasure-gathering pavilion, he noticed that many familiar neighbors in Peach Blossom Alley had already locked their doors. Evidently, even the cultivators of Peach Blossom Alley were fleeing Linjiang City in significant numbers. Su Jingzhen also observed that many neighbors' doors had been forcibly broken open. The simple protective arrays guarding these courtyards had long been dismantled. Sigh. Su Jingzhen could not help but sigh. Indeed, many cultivators had fled Linjiang City, but numerous marauding cultivators from outside the city were now flooding in. Previously, with the protection of the Huiyang sect, these ruffians dared not rampage. Now that the Huiyang sect had fallen, the semblance of order it maintained had completely disintegrated. The Evil Moon sect had not yet begun to formally manage Linjiang City, making these past few days a carnival for the marauders. Realizing this, Su Jingzhen heightened his vigilance. Yesterday, he had indeed made a significant impact at the Huiyang sect plaza, killing 2 of the sect's key figures with 2 bricks. But so what? Not all marauders recognized him, nor would everyone fear him. I hope Taoist Luo can quickly finish his tasks and start managing Linjiang City. Since the Evil Moon sect had brazenly started occupying the territory, they must have intentions. If Linjiang City continued in this chaotic state, it might soon become a truly anarchic place. As Su Jingzhen reflected on this, he arrived at the school gate. He pushed the door open and entered directly. However, the moment he stepped into the school, his vigilance heightened abruptly. Upon entering, he detected a strong scent of blood. Glancing towards the peach tree, he saw a black-clad corpse lying beneath it. Next to the corpse stood another figure. From this figure, Su Jingzhen sensed an intense, murderous aura. This person was likely a killer of many. Under the cover of this murderous aura, Su Jingzhen could not discern the level of this person's cultivation. At this moment, the person had their back to Su Jingzhen. A blood-dripping flying sword was in their hand. The scene was indeed quite unnerving. The blood energy within Su Jingzhen's body began to surge. Instinctively, his right hand pressed against his storage bag, which he had not yet changed. Part of his blood energy also gathered at the surging spring acupoint on his left foot. Silently, he had entered his strongest combat state. The figure before him, whether a marauding cultivator purposely targeting him or an assassin sent specifically for him, was clearly hostile. With the Huiyang sect's distress talismans no longer effective, there was no one to save him. He had to rely solely on himself. Whoosh! As Su Jingzhen remained on high alert, the black-clad figure under the peach blossom tree still did not turn around. Yet, the blood-dripping flying sword in his hand suddenly shot towards Su Jingzhen. The strike came unexpectedly, filled with murderous intent. In an instant, Su Jingzhen pulled out the black brick from his storage bag. The blood energy in his right hand's labor palace acupoint erupted fiercely. For this initial strike, he chose not to dodge. He had to test the opponent's strength. If he dodged the first strike, he might be forced into a passive defensive position for the rest of the encounter. As the flying sword neared, he swung the brick with full force. Ding! A crisp collision sound rang out in the air. The flying sword was struck by the brick and sent hurtling back. In that brief moment, Su Jingzhen felt the sharp sword energy emanating from it and a powerful recoil through the brick. The force was so strong that it destabilized his stance, causing him to stagger back a dozen steps until he crashed into the school gate behind him. Su Jingzhen's heart was heavy with concern. He wasn't sure if his opponent had used full strength in the sword attack, but he had exerted all his power in that brick strike. Despite that, he was still at a disadvantage. The opponent's aura remained concealed, indicating the use of a concealment technique. Nonetheless, Su Jingzhen now knew his opponent was at least at the peak of Kai refinement, possibly even at the foundation establishment stage. A formidable foe. After regaining his footing, Su Jingzhen glanced at his right hand holding the brick, noticing the cracked skin and bleeding at the base of his thumb. Meanwhile, the opponent's flying sword had already returned to his hand. After this strike, the black-clad man finally turned around. To Su Jingzhen's surprise, he did not conceal his face. It was the face of an extremely ordinary middle-aged man, the kind that would blend into a crowd without a trace. At this moment, the man looked at Su Jingzhen with a faint smile on his lips, his murderous intent even more apparent. They say the teacher at the Enlightenment School in Peach Blossom Alley is a hidden master, but it seems that's not the case. Before Su Jingzhen could respond, the man glanced at the black-clad corpse on the ground. I've taken care of a marauding cultivator for you. If Mr. Su isn't as strong as rumored, then you might as well join him today. Hearing this, Su Jingzhen's heart grew heavier. The man knew who he was and likely knew about the impact of his 2 bricks yesterday. Despite that, he still came, indicating that this man's strength was at least equal to Chen Jinxi's, possibly at the foundation establishment stage. Could he be from the main Huiyang sect? Or from the sects of the 8 golden core cultivators present yesterday? Su Jingzhen pondered this again. Those so-called righteous sects seemed to hold a significant grudge against the evil moon sect, and with him being visibly close to the evil moon sect, killing him to warn the evil moon sect was highly plausible. At least, that's what Su Jingzhen thought at this moment. He sighed slightly in his heart, hesitated no longer, and immediately allocated 200 points to body cultivation. Body cultivation, 3 secret treasures opened. Flesh body spiritual embryo, first layer. Next unlockable secret chamber, labor palace acupoint left, 0/200. Remaining points, 86. Just as Su Jingzhen had expected, after unlocking the surging spring acupoint in his right foot, his body's level reached the flesh body spiritual embryo stage. The next unlockable secret chamber, as he had guessed, was the left hand's labor palace acupoint. Random order, unlocking the 4 limbs. Moreover, the required points had not increased, which made him extremely excited. At this moment, he felt a burning sensation in his right foot, as if an endless stream of power was emanating from there. He had leaped directly from the 8th layer of the flesh-body mysterious embryo stage to the 1st layer of the flesh-body spiritual embryo stage, a significant breakthrough in realm. In terms of strength, as a proper body cultivator, he was no weaker than those at the foundation establishment stage. This substantial increase in his strength was not outwardly visible at all. This is also the ultimate confidence for him to play the pig and eat the tiger, and surprise others. For the past 2.5 years, Su Jingzhen had rarely engaged in combat, resulting in a severe lack of battle experience. Thus, ambushing with the black brick and catching people off guard proved to be the most practical approach. At this moment, he had not yet had a chance to properly feel or adapt to his newfound massive blood energy. Coordinating it directly in battle would be the best way. He also noticed that after unlocking the surging spring acupoint in his right foot, his stance seemed more stable, and his entire body more coordinated. 3 strikes. If Mr. Su can withstand my 3 strikes, I'll decide to let you go. The black-clad man now stood 10 feet away from Su Jingzhen, a faint smile on his face, but the murderous intent around him remained as intense as before. While speaking, the aura around him surged, and he swiftly formed a hand seal. The blood-dripping flying sword in his hand slashed towards Su Jingzhen once more. Having advanced to the flesh-body spiritual embryo stage, Su Jingzhen felt much more composed. Faced with the seemingly more ferocious sword strike, he still did not dodge. The blood energy of the flesh-body spiritual embryo flowed into his right hand's labor palace acupoint, ready to explode once again. He swung the brick directly at the flying sword. Ding! This strike was significantly more powerful than the previous one. Another crisp collision sound echoed. This time, the flying sword did not return to the black-clad man's hand. Instead, it was broken at the tip by the impact of the black brick. Moreover, Su Jingzhen was not pushed back by the recoil of the flying sword. Instead, he firmly stepped forward with his left foot, his body leaning forward. With a rolling move, he closed the distance to the black-clad man. Hee. Su Jingzhen flashed a bright, toothy grin at the black-clad man. This warm smile sent a chill down the man's spine, leaving him thoroughly shocked. Could this guy actually grow stronger with a stronger opponent? The black-clad man's recent flying sword attack was a level more powerful than the previous one. He thought this strike would be enough to subdue Su Jingzhen. Unexpectedly, the situation took such a drastic turn. At this moment, Su Jingzhen was still in a forward-leaning, half-squatting position from the roll. But the black brick in his hand was once again swung out, this time aiming precisely at a critical point, half a foot below the man's abdomen. Damn! This strike could be called the lineage-ending brick. Bang! However, this vicious strike did not hit the black-clad man's vital spot. Just as the black brick was about to make contact, a golden energy shield appeared in front of the man's crotch. A bang sounded as Su Jingzhen was once again pushed back by the impact. The golden light dissipated, and a broken talisman fell to the ground. In that critical moment, the black-clad man had used a golden defense talisman. It was powerful enough to withstand an attack comparable to the foundation establishment stage, indicating that it was not of low grade and certainly not cheap. The black-clad man didn't have time to mourn the loss of the talisman. His eyes, now filled with seriousness, fixed on Su Jingzhen. What a powerful body cultivator! He couldn't help but praise. Without that golden talisman, he didn't dare imagine what the outcome of that brick strike would have been. You still have 2 more strikes left, don't you? Or should I go first? Su Jingzhen's face still bore that warm, gentle smile, but his words were filled with mockery. He tightened his grip on the black brick. The recent counterattack had caught his opponent off guard, but also helped him find his rhythm. The blood energy of the flesh-body spiritual embryo stage surged more vigorously within him. He knew well that when a body cultivator faced a Kai refiner, the key was surprise and a swift, decisive battle. Otherwise, if the opponent recovered and created some distance to bombard him with spells, he would be at a significant disadvantage. Blood energy converged at the surging spring acupoints in both feet. With a stomp, Su Jingzhen launched himself like a human cannonball toward the black-clad man. Body cultivators had the advantage of never fearing close combat. As Su Jingzhen moved, the black-clad man's expression became even more serious. With a swift hand seal, the broken tip of the flying sword on the ground was drawn back into his hand by his spiritual command. Facing Su Jingzhen's fierce charge, he had no room to retreat. Gripping the broken sword with both hands, he slashed down vertically to meet Su Jingzhen's brick head-on. He knew very well that engaging in close combat with a powerful body cultivator was extremely foolish. However, he had no other choice. If he couldn't block this strike, there would be no chance for retreat. Clang! The sound of metal clashing echoed once more. Despite the surge of spiritual power within the black-clad man, it was no match for a genuine body cultivator. The black-clad man's body was abruptly blasted backward, nearly crashing into a peach tree. Though he had gripped the broken sword with both hands, the sword flew out of his grasp. He felt as though his arms had been shattered at the moment of impact. Nevertheless, he used the recoil from the impact to put some distance between himself and Su Jingzhen. Fear was now etched across the black-clad man's face. He sensed a hint of death emanating from Su Jingzhen. Before Su Jingzhen could charge at him again, the black-clad man didn't hesitate. He took a step and leaped onto the rooftop. Pulling out another, albeit lower quality, flying sword, he flew away immediately. Seeing this, Su Jingzhen's eyes narrowed slightly. A foundation establishment cultivator, after all. Muttering to himself, he glanced at the black brick in his hand, and a smile reappeared on his face. This really is useful. Having just broken through to the flesh-body spiritual embryo stage, and managing to repel a foundation establishment cultivator, he was exceedingly satisfied with his achievement. If the man hadn't fled so quickly, Su Jingzhen was confident that he could have killed him within a couple more moves. Putting away the black brick, Su Jingzhen once again sensed the blood energy of his flesh-body spiritual embryo stage. Clenching his fist lightly, he relished the feeling of power coursing through him. Shortly after, he arrived under the peach blossom tree, where a corpse still lay. That guy earlier said he helped me take care of a bandit. It seems this unlucky fellow was the one. Looks like he left me some work to do. Seeing the corpse, Su Jingzhen knew that even without the foundation establishment stage cultivator, he might have had to kill today anyway. After all, this bandit had already broken into his home, clearly seeking his own death. Muttering to himself, Su Jingzhen picked up the corpse. With a step, he leaped over the wall. Dead is dead, but at least die far away. Don't die in my courtyard. In just a little while, Su Jingzhen returned calmly through the gates of the school. With his current strength and the cultivation environment of Linjiang City, handling a corpse was incredibly simple. There was no need for any elaborate disposal. He just tossed it into an isolated corner. He knew that in Linjiang City, incidents of robbers breaking into courtyards to kill and steal were not uncommon. In fact, in Peach Blossom Alley, the cultivators who seemed to have fled with their doors shut might have already died in their courtyards. It's just that no one knew. Regarding this matter, Su Jingzhen could only hope that Lu Yubai would restore some order once he was done with his affairs. At the very least, those robbers wandering outside the city should not be so rampant. He understood that although the demonic sects acted unpredictably, and demonic cultivators often did as they pleased without hesitation in killing, there was still basic order within the territories of the demonic sects. Perhaps not as strict as righteous sects like Huyang sect, but definitely not as chaotic as Linjiang City was now. Su Jingzhen arrived under the peach blossom tree once again. Forming a seal with his hands, he used a small fireball technique to burn everything down. This spot still had lingering corpse energy. Although it was negligible now, Su Jingzhen disliked it. After finishing everything, it was only noon. Su Jingzhen glanced in the direction of Clear Wind Mountain before heading back to his quiet room. He had yet to properly sort through today's gains from the treasure-gathering pavilion. Back in his quiet room, he didn't immediately bring out the alchemy furnace to start refining pills. Instead, he took out the black storage bracelet and the jade slip recording the recipe for the breaking through adversity pill. His expression showed a hint of excitement. The original storage pouch was also placed beside him. Compared to this exquisite storage bracelet, the pouch looked extremely shabby. He poured out everything from the storage pouch. 50 sets of replenishing pill ingredients, over 100 low-grade spirit stones, several sets of spare clothes, 2 bottles of body-tempering liquid, and dozens of jade bottles containing pills. These were all his possessions in the storage pouch. Though they looked shabby among all the low-level cultivators in Linjiang City, this was considered quite a fortune. Without hesitation, Su Jingzhen left his mark on the black storage bracelet. The bracelet's space was a full 5 cubic meters, enough to hold 10 times his current belongings. He then walked to the alchemy furnace in the corner. With a thought, the small alchemy furnace disappeared on the spot. Connecting his mind to the storage bracelet, Su Jingzhen saw the furnace quietly sitting in a corner of the storage space. Today, I will completely bid farewell to the past. Murmuring to himself, he took out the furnace again. He also took out the jade slip with the breaking through adversity pill recipe. He planned to attempt refining this second-grade pill. However, he believed that with his current skill level, it shouldn't be too difficult. But as Su Jingzhen finished reading the information on the jade slip about the breaking through adversity pill, he was stunned. It wasn't that the breaking through adversity pill was particularly difficult. But damn, in his eagerness to leave after the transaction, he had forgotten to buy the ingredients for the breaking through adversity pill. He had everything prepared, but he forgot the most crucial part. Even the most skilled alchemist cannot make pills out of thin air without ingredients, right? Su Jingzhen let out a bitter laugh. To make such a basic mistake, what could he say? Forget it, maybe today is not the right time to advance to a second-grade alchemist. Let's refine some replenishing pills first and get into the rhythm. Besides, the recent fighting has left me unsettled, and it is indeed not a good time for such a significant step. After murmuring to himself, Su Jingzhen consoled himself with this reasoning. He took out the 50 sets of replenishing pill ingredients. Soon, he was once again immersed in alchemy. The room was soon filled with the faint fragrance of pills. About 2 hours later, the fire in the furnace extinguished, and before him were 2 jade bottles, each containing 25 replenishing pills. He had mentioned earlier that the fighting might affect his mindset for alchemy, yet he just achieved a 100% success rate, producing 50 replenishing pills in one go. It was still early, the night had not yet fallen. But Su Jingzhen decided not to go to the treasure-gathering pavilion again today. After all, he had already refined pills 50 times today, and now was truly not the right time to attempt advancement. Since he had no mortal enemies in Linjiang City, he could take his time. There was no rush. To Su Jingzhen, leisure and tranquility should be the core of cultivation. With this thought, he left the quiet room and headed to the kitchen, where he prepared a feast from the beast meat he had bought earlier. However, now, these delicious dishes were not something he had to worry about disappearing if he ate slowly, but he suddenly felt they lacked flavor. That usually quiet figure who stayed by his side, giving him the greatest reassurance, had made him develop a habit. Perhaps I can't be too relaxed. The gap between us is still like the difference between clouds and mud. To stand before her, it might take years of effort. Stuffing some meat into his mouth, Su Jingzhen didn't waste the blood energy contained in the beast meat. He quickly practiced a few rounds of the Python scale's power to completely absorb and refine it. Although he knew that the depths of the canyon in Clear Wind Mountain had a place highly suitable for his body refinement, he couldn't reach it immediately. And at this moment, Su Jingzhen had no intention of exhausting himself completely. After all, who knew if another robber might come by later? So he didn't plan to waste the remaining body-tempering liquid. Xuangjiang had mentioned that the body-tempering liquid would greatly help his initial body refinement stages. Su Jingzhen guessed that Xuangjiang's definition of initial body refinement stages probably included the flesh-body spiritual embryo level. As the night slowly climbed the sky, Su Jingzhen lay on the stone bed to rest. This sort of thing could only happen in the cultivation world. In his previous life, considering midnight as early to bed was unimaginable. However, lying on the bed didn't mean just sleeping. He carefully recalled and sorted through the theoretical battles from his previous life. Techniques like the clear heart technique which could play a significant role in the cultivation world, should not be neglected. Thinking about this, he eventually fell into a deep sleep. Meanwhile, a dark figure stood on the roof of the school's kitchen. Its gaze was fixed on the quiet room. In such a tense situation in Linjiang City, being able to rest peacefully shows commendable composure and courage. But whether he's as exceptional as Yuebai said, that's yet to be seen. The dark figure murmured to himself, but chose not to disturb. He came and left quietly. After he left, the sound of wind breaking could be heard from the rooftop of a courtyard not far from the school. It was none other than Luo Yuebai, flying in on his fan. There was a hint of nervousness in Luo Yuebai's eyes. He glanced around the Enlightenment School. Seeing that everything was still calm, a trace of doubt appeared on his face. Has that old guy been here or not? Luo Yuebai muttered to himself and headed toward the school. Soon he too stood on the kitchen rooftop. With his strength, he could naturally sense that Su Jingzhen was in the quiet room. But there were no signs of a fight, nor any traces of anyone having been there. He relaxed completely. It seems the old guy was just trying to scare me. Anyone I, Luo Yuebai, deem promising is bound to have infinite potential. Just wait and see, Su Jingzhen will amaze you all. After silently repeating this, he didn't linger and left quietly. Whether it was the first dark figure or Luo Yuebai's later visit, Su Jingzhen was completely unaware. He only felt that he had a very peaceful sleep. He woke up naturally. Time left until host's Danshan shatters, 492 days. Daily fixed points, Shuangjiang, 15 Zhangziu, for Feng Qingya 2 Luo Yuebai, 2. Remaining available points, 109. Opening his eyes, besides the usual reminder, there were the expected daily fixed points. Starting the day with 23 points was perhaps the direct source of Su Jingzhen's good mood. As long as there was no danger, just staying safe for 4 or 5 days would allow him to unlock the Labor Palace acupoint in his left hand. Given his current state, having these 4 people empathetically connected to him, providing 23 points daily, as long as he stayed alive, he would only grow stronger over time. If there were no special circumstances, Su Jingzhen's personality would actually accept this way of living. But he still wanted to stand before Shuangjiang and see sister-in-law Zhang Ziyu and the others again. So he had to take the initiative. Today is a good day, it's time to advance to a second-grade alchemist. Sitting up from the stone bed, after gathering his thoughts, Su Jingzhen walked out of the quiet room. Facing the rising sun, he practiced 2 rounds of Python Scales power, then casually tidied up his appearance and prepared to head to the treasure-gathering pavilion. With 50 chiraplenishing pills in hand, he had high expectations for the breaking through adversity pill ingredients. But before Su Jingzhen could reach the door, there was a knock. He raised an eyebrow, puzzled. Who could be looking for him at this time? Was it still the persistent parents of his former students? Or had the Evil Moon sect already rebuilt their sect and were now celebrating? Su Jingzhen was slightly puzzled, but when he opened the door he was stunned. Standing at the door were 3 people, none other than Xianxia and her parents. He had considered many possibilities, but he never expected it to be Xianxia. A failed matchmaking attempt was a normal occurrence for Su Jingzhen. So after a brief moment of melancholy on the day of the failure, Su Jingzhen had put the matter out of his mind. As for Xianxia, he merely regarded her as a passing acquaintance. Seeing Su Jingzhen, Yanxia's face was somewhat uneasy and slightly blushing. Her father, Yan Qixing, and her mother were both smiling warmly. Fellow Taoist Su, long time no. Su Jingzhen inwardly scoffed at this greeting. Long time no see, didn't we just meet at the Huyang sect square the day before yesterday? But as the saying goes, you don't hit a smiling face, so Su Jingzhen also smiled and nodded. He was curious to see what this family of 3 was up to. After exchanging greetings, Yan Qixing and his wife's gazes fell on Yanxia, encouraging her with their eyes. Yanxia greets fellow Taoist Su. Yanxia slightly bowed to Su Jingzhen, her face turning even redder. Without waiting for Su Jingzhen to respond, Yanxia continued. Earlier, Yanxia had some misunderstandings about fellow Taoist Su, If possible, please don't take it to heart. If Su Jingzhen still couldn't figure out the purpose of Xianxia and her family being here, he would be a poor excuse for a transmigrator. Before Xianxia could continue, he said directly, "If Miss Yan is referring to our first meeting, I've long since put it out of my mind. Miss Yan need not worry about it. Moreover, I've already married my heart's Dao companion. This matter is long settled, isn't it?" To think they wanted to mend a broken relationship, or rather, they never had a relationship to mend in the first place. Seeing his potential, they now wanted to curry favor. It was too late for Su Jingzhen. Even though he didn't know that Xianxia had been infatuated with Chen Jinshi and wanted to be his concubine just a few days ago, he now felt they were worlds apart and should have no further interactions. Upon hearing this, Xianxia opened her mouth to say something, but realized that anything she said would be futile. In the past few days, Su Jingzhen and Shuangjiang had frequently appeared together in public. And it wasn't just Su Jingzhen who shone brightly at the Huyang sect square. Although Xianxia found Shuangjiang's scarred face repulsive, it didn't stop people from thinking she and Su Jingzhen made a perfect match. At this moment, Xianxia began to waver. Then Yan Qixing spoke up, "Fellow Taoist Su, it's true that my daughter Xianxia has not awakened her spiritual roots this time either. She indeed is unworthy of you, but if you're willing, my daughter can be your concubine. I've heard from her that you were quite pleased with her before. Why not rekindle the old affection?" Xianxia was still somewhat bashful and reluctant to speak. But seeing Su Jingzhen's apparent distance, Yan Qixing couldn't sit still any longer. He laid his cards on the table, revealing their true intention. On the day of the matchmaking, upon learning of Su Jingzhen's broken dantian, Xianxia had been somewhat arrogant. But now, in less than half a month, even if she wanted to offer herself for free, Su Jingzhen might not accept. Truly, the twists of fate are unpredictable. After Yan Qixing directly stated his intentions, the family of three looked at Su Jingzhen with anticipation. Xianxia's face turned even redder, but there was also a look of humiliation in her eyes. Her father's words made her feel as though she was being offered as a gift. Yet she was truly helpless, as her parents had placed great expectations on her. However, she had continuously disappointed them. While Xianxia and her family each had their own thoughts, Su Jingzhen's lips curled into a smile again. "Let the past stay in the past. I have already said that I don't care about that incident. Moreover, Miss Yan is quite outstanding among her peers. I'm sure that if she finds a Dao companion, there will be a chance to have children with spiritual roots in the future." He paused for a moment before continuing, "As for me, I have already mentioned that I have a Dao companion I favor and will not take any concubines." Of course, this was just a lie at the moment. Having traveled through the world, if there were suitable candidates, Su Jingzhen wouldn't mind having multiple wives. Furthermore, his relationship with Shuangjiang as Dao companions was just a facade to deceive others. But as for Xianxia, he had no interest whatsoever. Choosing Xianxia was not as appealing as focusing on enhancing his strength, improving his alchemy skills, and capturing Feng Qingya from the treasure-gathering pavilion. After all, in terms of status, figure, face, and the value she could bring, Feng Qingya far surpassed Xianxia. After speaking, without waiting for a response from Xianxia and her family, Su Jingzhen had already stepped out of the school. "If the three of you are here solely for this matter, then please leave. I have some things to attend to." As he spoke, he closed the door of the school. To politely refuse Xianxia and her family was the extent of Su Jingzhen's courtesy. If they still weren't satisfied and continued to pester him, he wouldn't show any more leniency. Xianxia's face suddenly turned pale, realizing that she was not wanted even when given away freely. Yan Qixing and his wife exchanged complex glances. "Taoist Su, please wait a moment." After a moment of hesitation, Yan Qixing called out to Su Jingzhen again. Su Jingzhen's brow furrowed slightly. He had already planned to ignore them, but Yan Qixing's next words made him stop. "Taoist Su, you must have noticed how much we value our daughter. But she is indeed only a pseudo-spiritual roots practitioner. The reason we have her participate in the awakening ceremony every year is because of a special reason." Hearing this, Su Jingzhen became intrigued. In the cultivation world, those planning for the next generation typically believed that more children meant better chances. If one child didn't have spiritual roots, having many more would eventually yield one with spiritual roots. However, Yan Qixing and his wife seemed different. Su Jingzhen's gaze remained calm as he looked at the family, waiting for Yan Qixing to continue. The latter did not hesitate and spoke directly. Actually, our daughter Xianxia has a special constitution. Otherwise, my wife and I would not have been so persistent. Hearing this, Su Jingzhen was shocked. This was something he hadn't anticipated. He had indeed heard of the concept of special constitutions. Some people are born as heaven's favored ones, with constitutions different from ordinary people and abilities extremely powerful in certain aspects. For instance, the legendary innate Tao body, primordial saint body, yin nether ghost body, etc. However, after hearing that Xianxia also had such an innate special constitution, Su Jingzhen suddenly found it amusing. A special constitution that couldn't awaken its own spiritual roots was like being given a grand door by the heavens, only to have it locked without giving you the key. That was really absurd. Su Jingzhen then looked at Yan Qixing with some curiosity. What kind of constitution does she have? To this, Yan Qixing could only give a bitter smile. We are not entirely sure what kind of constitution our daughter has because she hasn't awakened her spiritual roots, so it hasn't fully manifested. But the one thing we are certain of is that she indeed has an innate special constitution. This explanation piqued Su Jingzhen's interest. If that's the case, why have you come to me? Innate constitutions were as rare as high-level spiritual roots. If Xianxia truly had a special constitution, there would be plenty of sects eager to take her in. Yet they came looking for him, and even initially set Xianxia up for a blind date with him. It didn't make much sense. Su Jingzhen found this explanation intriguing, but wasn't foolish. Hearing his question, Xianxia's family felt slightly embarrassed. Yan Qixing still opened his mouth to explain. There are several reasons. One is that my wife and I are weak and don't dare to reveal this to anyone too powerful. Another reason is that we once sought an elder from the Huiyang branch, but because our daughter failed to awaken her spiritual roots. That elder didn't believe us and didn't bother verifying it. Hearing this, Su Jingzhen couldn't help but snicker internally. The main reason was that no one believed them. Before he could respond, Yan Qixing continued, Actually, over the years, we've tried to develop our daughter's constitution ourselves. But we never seem to find the right method, and our abilities are very limited. As Zyra gets older, we can't afford to waste any more time. Your mysterious reputation, Taoist Su, gave us a bit of hope. Yan Qixing felt somewhat embarrassed as he spoke. Hearing this, Su Jingzhen narrowed his eyes slightly. He knew they were still hiding many things from him, and there were probably many details Yan Qixing wouldn't divulge. But this was understandable. After all, who didn't have a few secrets? Especially in the cultivation world. Su Jingzhen didn't want to delve into it any further. Yan Qixing and his wife were considered the bottom tier in Linjiang City, and Su Jingzhen understood the hardships of those at the lower levels of the cultivation world too well. No matter how they discovered Xianxia's special constitution, since Xianxia had no spiritual roots, it would indeed be difficult to make others believe them. Father, mother, let's go. Zyra has made up her mind. Even if she can't awaken her spiritual roots in this lifetime, it doesn't matter. As long as I can stay by your side, it's enough. Xianxia's face showed a trace of helplessness and some despair. As she said this, she didn't look at Su Jingzhen anymore. It seemed she had lost hope. Yan Qixing and his wife were stunned for a moment, then sighed deeply. We apologize for disturbing you, Taoist Su. Please don't take it to heart. Yan Qixing apologized to Su Jingzhen. Then the family of three left dejectedly. This made Su Jingzhen stand still in surprise. He watched the backs of Xianxia and her family, sensing their intention to leave was genuine. He couldn't accept Xianxia, but if she indeed had a special constitution, there might be some use. With this in mind, he instinctively called out. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. As Su Jingzhen spoke, Xianxia and her family immediately halted their steps. A hint of surprise involuntarily appeared on their faces. Their departure just now wasn't to fish for Su Jingzhen's favor. It was because Su Jingzhen's attitude had made them feel hopeless. They never expected Su Jingzhen to have any change of heart. They turned around, their gazes carrying a hint of expectation as they looked at Su Jingzhen. After pondering for a moment, Su Jingzhen spoke again. "I still don't know whether your special constitution is genuine, as my current cultivation level doesn't allow me to confirm it myself." Hearing Su Jingzhen's words, Xianxia and her family looked slightly nervous again. It seemed there was still some uncertainty in his tone. "Taoist Su Yu." Yan Qixing instinctively spoke, as if wanting to say something but not knowing what to say at this moment. Su Jingzhen continued, "In that case, you should go to the Huiyang sect, or rather, the Evil Moon sect. Find Luo Yuebai and tell him that I sent you. Settle down in the Evil Moon sect for now. After some time, I will also come to see you. With the power of the Evil Moon sect, proving Miss Yanxia's constitution should not be a problem, right?" Upon hearing this, Yan Qixing and his family were momentarily stunned. Then joy appeared on their faces. Although Su Jingzhen's strength was already considerable, they knew that he was only at the Kai refining stage. If they could be introduced to the Evil Moon sect by him, it would be an even better choice. Initially, they had only hoped to make Su Jingzhen believe them, and then ask him to seek help from the powerful figures around him. Having Su Jingzhen take Yanxia as a concubine was undoubtedly the most direct approach. They had never thought that Su Jingzhen's own abilities could help them in any way. After the initial surprise, Yan Qixing's brows furrowed slightly with worry. After all, the Evil Moon sect was a demonic sect. They subconsciously harbored some fear towards cultivators of the demonic path. Seeming to sense their concern, Su Jingzhen added, "There's no need to worry. The distinction between the demonic path and the orthodox path is just a label. As long as you mention my name, there won't be any problems." Su Jingzhen believed he still had some face in front of Luo Yuebai. "I've pointed out the path for you. Whether you choose to go or not is up to you." With that said, Su Jingzhen didn't linger any longer and turned to leave. He couldn't confirm whether Yanxia had a special constitution right now. Even if he could confirm it, he wouldn't be able to help her alone. After all, his resources were still limited. And most importantly, he only knew about special constitutions from hearsay. There was no need for him to take on all responsibilities. As for the golden finger, he hadn't even figured it out himself yet, so it wouldn't be of any use to Yanxia either. Considering his current status in Linjiang City, it was too simple for him to point Yanxia in the right direction. Whether it was the Evil Moon sect or the treasure-gathering pavilion, they could easily reach this point. Once confirmed, they would have a way to help Yanxia. At that time, both Yanxia and the Evil Moon sect would owe him a favor. He had heard that although most cultivators of the demonic path were cruel and bloodthirsty, they were also very loyal in certain situations. And the reason for not choosing the treasure-gathering pavilion was also quite simple. The treasure-gathering pavilion was a merchant force, solely focused on profit. Even though he had an empathetic connection with Feng Qingya, and even though he harbored some resentment towards Luo Yuebai, Su Jingzhen found that Luo Yuebai would make him feel more at ease. This was just Su Jingzhen's gut feeling, but cultivators' intuitions were often accurate. Even if Yanxia ultimately proved not to have a special constitution, it wouldn't be any loss to him. Overall, for him as he was now, everything was just a matter of lifting his hand. As Su Jingzhen's figure disappeared into the distance, Yanxia and her family stood rooted to the spot once again. It seemed they still couldn't believe that all of this was real. "Father, what should we do now?" Yanxia's voice trembled slightly with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. After pondering for a moment, Yan Qixing's eyes showed determination. "Let's go to the Evil Moon sect. In any case, this should be our last chance. The world is becoming increasingly chaotic, and we have fewer and fewer opportunities to interact with high-level figures. If this doesn't work out, perhaps we'll have to resign ourselves to our fate." As he spoke, Yan Qixing seemed a bit like a mad gambler. As for what Xianxia and her family were thinking, Su Jingzhen didn't care at this point. He didn't even care whether they chose to go to the Evil Moon sect or not. At this moment, he had already left Peach Blossom Alley and once again donned his black cloak, heading straight for the treasure-gathering pavilion. By the time Su Jingzhen arrived at the second floor of the treasure-gathering pavilion, Xianxia and her family had already reached the end of the main street of Linjiang City. The original gate of the Huiyang sect had disappeared, replaced by the grand but eerie gate of the Evil Moon sect. 2 pillars 10 zhang high stood on either side of the gate, guarding a massive plaque. On it were the 3 characters, Evil Moon sect. Just the sight of the gate was enough to make ordinary people shudder. However, at this moment, Xianxia and her family had not yet approached the gate. From inside, a figure in white clothes, holding a folding fan, walked out. If it wasn't Luo Yuebai, then who? Upon seeing his figure, Yan Qixing's expression suddenly became excited, and he hurriedly stepped forward. It's Luo, Lord Luo. On the second floor of the treasure-gathering pavilion. It was still the familiar private room. Every day, it seemed like Feng Qingye had nothing else to do, as he was always able to find her when he arrived. At this moment, she still had a charming smile on her face, as she sorted through the 2 bottles of replenishing pills Su Jingzhen had handed over. Emotional connection +2. Available points 111. After she finished counting, she was once again shocked. 50 sets of medicinal herbs had truly been refined into 50 replenishing pills. And it was still a 100% success rate. Although she had already known about this, knowing was one thing, and seeing it with her own eyes was another. However, Su Jingzhen wasn't surprised at all by these 2 points. Feng Qingye smiled and said, 50 replenishing pills in total. I'll consider it as 500 low-grade spirit stones for Master Su. What do you think? Su Jingzhen nodded. Feng Qingye's pricing had never disappointed him. He looked at Feng Qingye and said directly, with these 500 low-grade spirit stones, Miss Feng, please prepare some medicinal herbs for the breaking through adversity pill. However many breaking through adversity pill medicinal herbs you have here, just give them all to me, and I'll pay with spirit stones. If there aren't enough spirit stones, I'll still owe you. To casually talk about owing money in front of the pavilion master of the treasure-gathering pavilion showed just how nonchalant Su Jingzhen was at the moment. It seemed that currently, in Linjiang City, he was the only one who could do so. Feng Qingye was stunned for a moment when she heard Su Jingzhen's direct words. Her smile widened. I've already prepared them for Master Su. As soon as she finished speaking, the sapphire ring in her hand shimmered once again. Immediately, a pile of medicinal herbs appeared on the table in front of them, completely filling it up. Su Jingzhen swept his gaze over the herbs and nodded slightly. These were indeed the items recorded on the prescription for the pill. There were a total of 80 sets. Su Jingzhen was extremely pleased. In his view, these 80 sets of herbs were enough for him to refine the breaking through adversity pill successfully. He was absolutely confident in advancing to the 2nd rank. However, he also knew that with just these 50 replenishing pills, it would be difficult for him to afford all these herbs. But before he could inquire further, Feng Qingye took the initiative to speak again. These are just the first batch of herbs. Consider it as supporting Master Su's advancement. If it's not enough, just let me know. Although the ingredients for the breaking through adversity pill are indeed harder to find than those for other 2nd-grade pills, it wouldn't be difficult for the treasure-gathering pavilion to gather 180 sets. After saying this, she looked at Su Jingzhen with some seriousness. But Miss Qingye has one request for Master Su. After Master Su successfully advances, please give Miss Qingye 10 breaking through adversity pills. Consider them as payment for the recipe and these herbs. As she spoke, Feng Qingye's eyes were full of anticipation. Su Jingzhen nodded without any hesitation. After clarifying these matters, he simply stored all the breaking through adversity pill herbs into his storage bracelet with a single thought. Although there was sentiment involved, he and Feng Qingye were ultimately engaged in a transaction. After establishing an empathetic connection with Feng Qingye, Su Jingzhen naturally understood that their relationship would only deepen in the future. But at least for now, while his strength was still weak, he didn't want to be manipulated by Feng Qingye with these material goods. In such an empathetic relationship, he needed to maintain control. Master Su, would you like to see if there's anything else you need? With the current items, Qingye has already made a profit by exchanging them for 10 breaking through adversity pills. Hearing this, Su Jingzhen couldn't help but smile. It's all right. You're the pavilion master of the treasure-gathering pavilion, and I've been letting you lose out all this time. I feel quite embarrassed about it. The treasure-gathering pavilion was established to make a profit, and it wouldn't be fair if I kept making you lose out, right? In Feng Qingye's eyes, the key was sustainable mutual benefit. Only with mutual gain could they go further. Su Jingzhen was extremely clear about this. Emotional connection +2. Remaining available points, 113. With this statement, Feng Qingye was once again taken aback. Then a row of golden letters appeared before him. Without waiting for Feng Qingye to say anything else, Su Jingzhen stood up. Thank you for your generosity, Miss Feng. When the pills are successfully refined in the future, I will come again. This time, during their transaction, Feng Qingye did not deliberately use her charm. Whether she had completely given up or for some other reason, Su Jingzhen felt very comfortable. Although Feng Qingye still wore minimal clothing, Su Jingzhen could still withstand the charm she exuded naturally, even without the clear heart technique. Moreover, appreciating such a beauty in a normal manner only brought joy to both body and mind. As Su Jingzhen bid farewell and rose to leave, Feng Qingye simply nodded. I look forward to Master Su's next visit. Watching Su Jingzhen descend the stairs, Feng Qingye's smile slowly faded. However, her eyes still held endless anticipation. At this moment, the white-haired Mu Lao appeared not far behind her. Miss, should I keep an eye on him? Mu Lao looked at the direction Su Jingzhen had left. Hearing this, Feng Qingye's expression turned slightly cold. Is this how the treasure-gathering pavilion does business? This questioning left Mu Lao speechless. Then Feng Qingye continued, there's no need for any means against Su Jingzhen. I've realized that perhaps the best approach is to be sincere with him, although I'm not sure if the mysterious strong woman named Shuangjiang who's with him is still in Linjiang City. Even if she's not, there's no need to restrain him anyway. Let things take their natural course. Any scheming might backfire. Feng Qingye was confident about this. Initially, she had wanted to directly control Su Jingzhen through herself. But after the last attempt, she still couldn't bring him under her control. She was well aware that it wasn't because her charm was inadequate or her seduction techniques were faulty, but because Su Jingzhen's inner strength was too formidable. Such a person could cooperate, but could not be manipulated. At least for now, Feng Qingye couldn't achieve that, and she also understood that Su Jingzhen could only cooperate with their treasure-gathering pavilion for the time being. And that was enough. After a pause, Feng Qingye added, moreover, regarding Su Jingzhen, I now have even greater expectations of him. If everything goes well, perhaps he will be a turning point for us. With this statement, Mu Lao's expression changed once again. He never expected that Miss Feng would value Su Jingzhen so highly. All right, Mu Lao, I'll handle this matter. You don't need to worry about it. Yes. Exiting the treasure-gathering pavilion, Su Jingzhen felt excited again. This time everything went smoothly. He obtained the required herbs and gained 2 points. And he had a faint feeling that Feng Qingye's attitude towards him seemed to have changed somewhat. This woman has become more and more unpredictable. Glancing back at the treasure-gathering pavilion, Su Jingzhen sighed again. Feng Qingye hadn't actively seduced him throughout this visit, which was good, but he had a vague feeling that her intentions toward him had grown. With these thoughts, he had already returned to Peach Blossom Alley. And he had reached the entrance of the academy. After the incident with the attack by the black-clothed men, Su Jingzhen's vigilance had increased. But when he saw the figure in white sitting at the entrance of his academy, all his vigilance relaxed. Friend Luo, have you already taken care of the matters at Evil Moon Sect? Why are you back in Peach Blossom Alley? Su Jingzhen approached and greeted Luo Yuebai. Luo Yuebai is the current head of the Evil Moon sect in Linjiang City. With him around, naturally no evil spirits would dare to come and cause trouble. Luo Yuebai shook his folding fan and smiled. I heard that there have been frequent attacks on cultivators outside the city these days. I'm worried about friend Su. After all, among those cultivators, there are some formidable ones. Has everything been all right here these days? If not, would you like to stay at Evil Moon sect for a while with me? He didn't engage in much small talk and directly stated his purpose. Upon hearing Luo Yuebai's words, Su Jingzhen paused. He deeply looked at him. This guy coming here and saying that these past few days were not peaceful, could it be that he was implying something fishy was going on here? Thinking back to the middle-aged Foundation establishment cultivator who showed up last night with hidden intentions. Could it be that this guy intentionally sent him? Su Jingzhen speculated in his heart. Then he smiled and said, "Has the Evil Moon sect been renovated? I had previously promised to attend the Evil Moon sect celebration with friend Luo." It seemed like he was changing the subject, but in fact he was tactfully accepting Luo Yuebai's invitation. No matter if the Foundation establishment cultivator from last night was sent by Luo Yuebai or not, at least the relationship between them is still no hostility. Luo Yuebai harbors no hostility towards him, and that's enough. By now, he's already seen as a member of the Evil Moon sect by the public in Linjiang City. So moving in openly shouldn't be a problem at all. He's already prepared everything. All that's left is a better environment to advance to the second rank. The Evil Moon sect seems to be a good place for that. There, at least he doesn't have to worry about being disturbed by rogue cultivators. And the most important reason is that within the Evil Moon sect, he can occasionally ask Luo Yuebai to lead him to that canyon in Clear Wind Mountain. He knows that Luo Yuebai is very curious about him, probably because of his body refining and pill refining. So his requests are something the other party is unlikely to refuse. As for the issue of whether his identity as a pill refiner will be exposed, he never intended to hide it forever. Initially, it was only because he hadn't reached body cultivation yet. Relying on his cultivation at the Kai refinement stage, once exposed, he would undoubtedly be captured and used as a pill refining puppet. Now, he even wants to leverage his identity as a pill refiner to obtain some resources when the time is right. In some ways, the cultivation world is similar to Earth. When you're weak, you lower your profile and keep a low profile. After accumulating some capital, if you still want to gain more, then you need to show your capital so that things that could have belonged to you can be obtained. The former Su Jingzhen might have been content with a modest life and willing to quietly live in a peaceful place. But now he's curious about Shuangjiang's world, and he's already standing at the forefront. The kind of thinking he had before is destined to be impossible to achieve. All he can do now is seize everything he can grab onto to become stronger. Having experienced the harsh realities of society in his previous life, Su Jingzhen naturally handles these matters firmly. Upon hearing Su Jingzhen's words, Luo Yuebai's lips curved into a smile again. As for renovating sects, it's actually the simplest thing for cultivators. Under Clear Wind Mountain, it has already become a legitimate branch of the Evil Moon sect. I will now take friend Su to see it. If there's anything wrong, friend Su can still give some advice. Su Jingzhen nodded. There's no problem staying there temporarily, but this place still needs some tidying up. Seeing this, Luo Yuebai smiled again. Linjiang City is already under my Evil Moon sect's control. If friend Su is used to Peach Blossom Alley, we can build a few more spirit gathering arrays here in the future. As long as my Evil Moon sect stands, this Peach Blossom Alley will always belong to friend Su. Su Jingzhen smiled and didn't respond. Returning to the academy, Su Jingzhen merely took a turn. Other than putting the wooden tub he often bathed into the storage bracelet, there was nothing else worth taking. Walking through the courtyard, looking at this muddy path, a smile once again appeared at the corner of Su Jingzhen's mouth. I have talked about this road for so long, but still it hasn't been paved with bricks after all. Shaking his head, he walked out again. He even hung a lock on the gate in a decent manner. Seeing this, Luo Yuebai directly threw his folding fan into the air again. "Friend Su, let's go. I'll show you the new look of my evil moon sect." Seeing the folding fan expand to a yard again, Su Jingzhen didn't hesitate and stepped onto it. But what he didn't expect was that Luo Yuebai actually leisurely drove the folding fan from the main street of Linjiang City. Like parading, he even deliberately made a few circles near the treasure-gathering pavilion, as if afraid that the people there wouldn't see it. Su Jingzhen's heart couldn't help but skip a beat. He naturally saw that this guy was deliberate. Perhaps he was also conveying something to Feng Qingye at the treasure-gathering pavilion. It seemed that they had reached some kind of cooperation before, but it seemed that they were also competitors in his aspect. "Friend Luo, what are you doing?" Su Jingzhen felt a little helpless. But Luo Yuebai just laughed. "Before going to the evil moon sect, I wanted to let friend Su appreciate the current appearance of Linjiang City again. In a few days, when the evil moon sect completely resets the rules after freeing up their hands, it will be better here than when Huyang sect was in charge. It's an excuse, but it's flawless. Hey, look who's up there in the sky. Isn't that the current leader of the evil moon sect? Is he accompanied by Su Jingzhen?" While Su Jingzhen is actually touring with Luo Yuebai, it seems that Su Jingzhen has indeed joined the evil moon sect. And it seems that he is also highly valued by the current leader of the evil moon sect. After a few circles, many people below had already seen the appearance of the person on Luo Yuebai's folding fan. Now, the fact that Su Jingzhen is a member of the evil moon sect is even more impossible to shake off. As if hearing the discussions below, Luo Yuebai's lips curved into a smile again. Then, driving the folding fan, he headed towards the evil moon sect under Clear Wind Mountain. Feeling more and more helpless, Su Jingzhen was unwittingly led by Luo Yuebai again. "Miss, if you really value Su Jingzhen so much, maybe some things can be done in advance." On the second floor of the treasure-gathering pavilion, Mu Lao appeared next to Feng Qingye again, before Su Jingzhen and Luo Yuebai reached the evil moon sect. Feng Qingye raised her eyebrows slightly. "Didn't I say that all matters concerning Su Jingzhen should be handled by me?" Although she seems noisy in front of Su Jingzhen, she is extremely dominant within the treasure-gathering pavilion, at least among the branch halls in Linjiang City. Even the guardian Mu Lao, if he makes a slight mistake, may incur her displeasure. To this, Mu Lao calmly said, "Just now, Su Jingzhen has been taken to the evil moon sect by Luo Yuebai." Hearing this, Feng Qingye's brow furrowed even deeper. Mu Lao continued, "Luo Yuebai should only be suspicious of Su Jingzhen at the moment. And he is very interested in his body refining cultivation, but he should not have confirmed that he is a pill refiner, let alone know that his pill success rate is almost 100%. If they were to perceive such information, it might have some impact on Mrs. Plan. After all, they are ultimately from the demonic sect. Mu Lao is a competent guardian after all." After saying all that needs to be said, he disappeared before Feng Qingye could speak, taking the initiative to leave. Feng Qingye's brow remained furrowed. "Luo Yuebai, are you deliberately showing this to me? But I don't believe that you can outwit me." After leaving the visible range of the treasure-gathering pavilion, the speed of Luo Yuebai's folding fan multiplied countless times. In no time, the two of them directly landed at the entrance of the evil moon sect. Seeing the new and majestic gate, Su Jingzhen couldn't help but feel emotional again. "Friend Su, how do you like the new gate of the evil moon sect? It's much more grand than the one before the Huyang sect, isn't it?" Luo Yuebai asked with a hint of arrogance in his tone. Su Jingzhen smiled and nodded, "Great gate." The affirmation was mixed with a little perfunctoriness. Luo Yuebai was slightly stunned, then continued to lead Su Jingzhen into the evil moon sect. The general environment inside was almost the same as when the Huyang sect was in charge. But many iconic things have become somewhat dark. All are in line with the demonic paths. Every time Luo Yuebai personally introduced something to Su Jingzhen would respond with extremely affirmative but extremely casual 2 words. For example, good stones, good trees, good flowers. This made Luo Yuebai somewhat at a loss. Why am I even telling you? Soon, according to Su Jingzhen's request, Luoyang brought him to the depths of the evil moon sect. A secluded and extremely aura-rich courtyard adjacent to Clear Wind Mountain. This courtyard was extremely large, several times larger than the Enlightenment School in Peach Blossom Alley where Su Jingzhen was. Obviously, Luoyang had prepared in advance before picking up Su Jingzhen. At the gate of this courtyard, there were 6 women each with their own unique charm. Seeing Su Jingzhen's arrival, these 6 people brightened up and bowed to Su Jingzhen. But the person standing in the front had a complex expression. "Your servants greet Taoist Su." The 6 people spoke in unison, their voices soft and charming, though not as good as Feng Qingya's. But they were all considered beautiful women. However, when Su Jingzhen saw these 6 people, he was suddenly dumbfounded. Because the leader was none other than Xianxia, whom he had met at the gate of his school in the morning. He never expected to meet again at the evil moon sect. Seeing Su Jingzhen's expression, Luoyang smiled again. "Miss Xianxia and her family came to the evil moon sect this morning. I roughly understood the situation. To be honest, if she insists on being a special physique, but her spiritual roots have not awakened, I have no way to prove it. But seeing their confidence, I decided to leave Miss Xianxia behind. I was just thinking that you might need a few maidservants." Luoyang spoke lightly about Xianxia's matter, obviously not taking it too seriously. But his thought was exactly the same as Su Jingzhen's. He couldn't prove it, but he had a faint expectation in his heart. Keeping Xianxia for the time being was to give her a chance, and also give himself a chance to cultivate a genius. As for Yan Qixing and his wife, Luoyang naturally couldn't keep them. Luoyang's promise to keep Xianxia was already a great favor. Su Jingzhen smiled bitterly. "I'm used to tranquility, friend Luo's move caught me off guard. As you become stronger, you will get used to it." He didn't wait for Su Jingzhen to respond. Luoyang continued, "I know friend Su must have many things to do, so I won't disturb you with this matter for now. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to come find me." With that, he directly left with his folding fan, not giving Su Jingzhen a chance to refuse. "Sir Su, please don't drive us away. When Master Lu arranged for us to come here, he already said that if you don't want us, we'll be sent to Clear Wind Mountain to feed the wild beasts. Master Lu wasn't joking with us." At this moment, apart from Xianxia, the other 5 were on the verge of tears, afraid that Su Jingzhen would ask them to leave. Su Jingzhen could also sense that among these 6 people, apart from Xianxia, the rest had all reached the Kai refining stage. As Su Jingzhen sighed inwardly, he began to feel a headache. He didn't deliberately greet Xianxia separately. "Come in first, this courtyard is not small, find a place to stay on your own. You can do whatever you want during normal days, but without my permission, don't step into my residence. Do you understand?" Su Jingzhen said. Hearing Su Jingzhen's words, the other 5 were overjoyed, while Xianxia still looked complex. From initially rejecting Su Jingzhen during their blind date, to later being given to Su Jingzhen for free, and now she had become his maid. It seemed impossible to go any further unless she was truly confirmed to have a special physique. After giving instructions, Su Jingzhen didn't pay much attention to them. He walked to the innermost, most secluded courtyard. Choosing a room at random, he took out the pill furnace from his storage bracelet. Since this courtyard was specially prepared for him by Luoyang, as long as he entered here, even if it was Luoyang's territory, he couldn't casually intrude. Su Jingzhen was not afraid of being disturbed by anyone. It's time to advance to a second-grade alchemist. Talking to himself, Su Jingzhen took out the ingredients for the breaking through adversity pill, 10 portions in total. In the cultivation world, refining any first-grade pill could make one a first-grade alchemist. Refining any second-grade pill could make one a second-grade alchemist. As long as it succeeded, there was an automatic promotion, no need for anyone to prove it. Of course, if he wanted to show off, he could show the alchemist token to Feng Qingya and ask her to issue him a new token as a second-grade alchemist, but there was no need for that. After neatly arranging the ingredients, he followed the usual procedure. He lit the furnace and then touched each herb with his hands, as if using his spiritual roots talent to sense the principles of these herbs. Su Jingzhen entered a state almost instantly. Then he recalled the method of refining the breaking through adversity pill. One by one, the herbs were put into the pill furnace. But it was not as easy as he imagined. After a while in the furnace, there was a burnt smell. For the first herb, he didn't even refine a substandard pill. However, Su Jingzhen remained calm. This result seemed within his expectations. After pondering for a moment, he tried again. 10 portions of breaking through adversity pill ingredients were soon depleted by him. Yet he only managed to refine one substandard breaking through adversity pill. This result made Su Jingzhen somewhat puzzled. Is this pill so difficult to refine? No wonder Xianxia said that at certain times, this thing could be as valuable as a 3rd or even 4th grade pill. Or is it that my mysterious wood spiritual roots talent is not enough to support me in refining 2nd grade pills? Su Jingzhen pondered as he failed 10 times in a row. If those alchemists who had failed thousands of times just to advance heard this, they would probably curse him for showing off again. At this moment, not far from Su Jingzhen's courtyard, Luo Yuebai had been watching the direction where Su Jingzhen was. He has been locked in the room for a long time, and even from such a distance, I can smell a faint burnt smell. Is friend Su starting to refine pills? Talking to himself, Luo Yuebai became more and more curious. His whole purpose of bringing Su Jingzhen over was to be closer to him and observe him more closely. At this moment, Luo Yuebai's spiritual awareness was greatly heightened. He confirmed that the extremely light but real burnt smell that permeated the void was indeed the smell produced when refining the elixir. His heart couldn't help but feel a little excited. The reason why he paid attention to Su Jingzhen in the beginning was simply because he smelled a strong medicinal fragrance in Peach Blossom Alley, right? At that time, Luo Yuebai had already vaguely guessed that either Su Jingzhen or Xianxia must be an alchemist. And their level wouldn't be too low. Although later he became interested in Su Jingzhen for more than just this curiosity. But now, undoubtedly, it gave him a chance to confirm his initial guess. This burnt smell, it seems to be produced only when alchemy fails. Could it be that friend Su is trying to break through as a high-level alchemist? I wonder what level his skills have reached. As he muttered to himself, Luo Yuebai involuntarily walked towards Su Jingzhen's courtyard. He went directly to the outside of the small courtyard, where Su Jingzhen was refining the pill, and sat down in a pavilion in the courtyard. He chose not to disturb. After all, he had already given this courtyard to Su Jingzhen, and it would be somewhat impolite to intrude without the other's consent. This position outside the courtyard was undoubtedly just right. And the burnt smell coming from there became even stronger. However, just as Luo Yuebai had sat down, Su Jingzhen had already pushed the door and come out. At this moment, there was neither joy nor sorrow on his face, and no emotions could be seen. Friend Su, are you refining a pill? I never expected friend Su to be an alchemist. Seeing Su Jingzhen coming out, Luo Yuebai stood up directly with a folding fan in his hand and asked him so. At this moment, Luo Yuebai was indeed somewhat excited. As soon as the words came out, he realized that something was amiss. It seemed like he was a little too anxious. He hurriedly explained again, I suddenly remembered something and wanted to come over and inform friend Su, but I happened to smell some pill fragrance here. The reason he hastily found seemed extremely lame. But Su Jingzhen didn't expose it. He smiled and said, this is not the fragrance of the pill. I just refined it randomly, but it failed as expected. Su Jingzhen naturally knew that Luo Yuebai had probably been paying attention to his alchemy for a long time. He didn't admit it at this moment, but he didn't deny it either. Both of them tacitly understood. However, after ruining 10 sets of breaking through adversity pill ingredients in succession, Su Jingzhen timely stopped and didn't push further. Before Luo Yuebai could ask anything else, Su Jingzhen's gaze turned towards Clear Wind Mountain behind. It seems that friend Luo hasn't been very busy lately. Hearing this, Luo Yuebai raised his eyebrows slightly and smiled. Evil Moon Sect has just established a branch here, so it is naturally very busy, but it is a good opportunity to have a break. If you do everything yourself, you will be exhausted to death. Su Jingzhen nodded again and smiled. In that case, friend Luo, would you accompany me to a place? My wife, Xianxia, said that today she wants me to bring her something. If we're late, it might delay her some matters. In front of others, Su Jingzhen was very willing to call Xianxia his wife. And before, he had told Luo Yuebai that Xianxia was cultivating in the depths of that canyon. Anyway, Luo Yuebai had no way to confirm the truths. This excuse could still be used. As soon as he said this, Luo Yuebai indeed felt a hint of astonishment in his heart. Is friend Su talking about the previous canyon? Actually, Luo Yuebai didn't believe Su Jingzhen's previous statement at all. But seeing the seriousness in Su Jingzhen's eyes at this moment, he couldn't help but feel puzzled. Although he asked like this, he couldn't help but wonder, could there really be some strange place there that we evil moon sect cultivators haven't discovered? Su Jingzhen nodded again, exactly there. After pondering for a moment, Luo Yuebai naturally nodded. Since it was arranged by Miss Xianxia, then I dare not delay. Let me personally take friend Su up there, which will be much faster. As soon as he finished speaking, he directly threw the folding fan in his hand into the void. Immediately, the folding fan enlarged to a size of 10 feet. Without hesitation, Su Jingzhen stepped onto the folding fan. At this moment, there was a hint of a smile in his heart. He knew that Luo Yuebai doubted his words. But when he entered the depths of the canyon with the strand of imprint given to him by Xianxia, and Luo Yuebai couldn't enter, perhaps Luo Yuebai would completely believe it. This time, Luo Yuebai didn't lead him around randomly. He headed straight for the canyon. In just the time it took for an incense stick to burn, the canyon, still shrouded in mist and still deep, appeared in their sight. Luo Yuebai still landed with Su Jingzhen in the same spot where Zhang Ziyu had carved the characters before. The cliff there was still there, and the characters on it were still there. Seeing it again, Su Jingzhen couldn't help but sigh. But he turned to Luo Yuebai and said, "Friend Luo, you may wait here for a moment." Before Luo Yuebai could respond, he walked alone towards the mist-covered depths of the canyon. When his figure was enveloped in dense fog and became unclear, Luo Yuebai also followed him, heading towards the depths of the canyon. Wait, that was naturally impossible. I want to see what friend Su is up to, whether there really exists a secret place that my evil moon sect has failed to explore several times. Muttering to himself like this, Luo Yuebai felt that this trip might reveal some secrets about Su Jingzhen. After all, Luo Yuebai was confident that Su Jingzhen's strength was weaker than his own at the moment. And body cultivation is naturally weaker than Kai cultivation in terms of exploration and spiritual awareness. So he was confident that his stealthy tracking would not be discovered by Su Jingzhen. However, as they walked, Luo Yuebai suddenly frowned. Although the canyon was quite spacious, it was nothing for him, a foundation establishment cultivator. If Su Jingzhen wanted to hide in a certain position on the only path, it would be impossible to evade his detection. However, after walking for a long time, he had neither seen Su Jingzhen nor felt any slightest breath. Although the spiritual energy in the depths of the canyon was indeed more abundant, it was far from being called a secret realm. After another incense stick's time, he actually walked out from the other end of the canyon. This I actually came out, where is friend Su? Looking at the dense forest ahead, there was an incredulous look in Luo Yuebai's eyes. Could it be that he has already walked out of the canyon, and the destination is not the canyon, but somewhere in the dense forest? But his speed shouldn't be faster than mine, right? At this moment, a serious look appeared on Luo Yuebai's face. He directly used the folding fan to fly into the sky, and looked around the surrounding dense forest. But he didn't see Su Jingzhen's figure. Then he returned to the initial place where they were in the canyon. Once again, he stepped towards the depths of the canyon, fully opening his spiritual awareness. If there really is a secret place, I, Luo Yuebai, don't believe that I can't get in. On the other side, Su Jingzhen had already successfully entered the peculiar place, with rich spiritual energy and sharp sword intent, by relying on the imprint given to him by Xianxia. He naturally knew that Luo Yuebai outside must be searching for him. And this was also one of Su Jingzhen's main purposes this time. He knew that after this trip back, Luo Yuebai would probably believe that Shuangjiang was indeed secluded here. In this way, he would be much more relaxed in future situations. Shuangjiang said that if I can thoroughly figure out this space, maybe I can get a significant opportunity, but I don't know exactly what she meant. Regarding this peculiar place, Su Jingzhen could only come in, but he was not clear about what exactly was inside. Even how big it was, he didn't know. Speaking to himself, he headed towards the center. He had to investigate. Su Jingzhen cautiously stepped forward, and the blood and Qi in his body surged suddenly. Despite this, the sharp sword intent carried by the dense fog still made his skin ache. He was extremely nervous, afraid that danger would emerge from the thick fog. However, at this moment, he had only taken 5 or 6 steps forward, and sweat began to drip from his body. And among this sweat, it was also mixed with his blood. At this position, his skin had been cut by the sword intent carried in the fog. And there was also a strong pressure in the dense fog. At least with his current strength, he couldn't withstand this pressure and move forward. If he insisted on moving forward, he might be severely injured by the sword intent in the dense fog. There was really no need for that. Taking a step back, Su Jingzhen's expression became serious again. Let's not be too ambitious. According to Miss Shuangjiang, right at this position, if I can persist in practicing Python Scale's power, what I can gain should be quite good. Speaking to himself, he prepared himself to start practicing the Python Scale's power. The same martial art, when practiced in different places, the difficulty and the effects obtained were indeed different. At this moment, Su Jingzhen felt the blood and Qi in his body surging continuously. There was a sharp pain in his flesh. Just one round and his forehead was already covered in sweat. And while practicing Python Scale's power, he not only felt that the sword intent in the surrounding fog became stronger, but it seemed that strands of special energy were also continuously pouring into his body. But as Shuangjiang said, the results were twice the effort. Su Jingzhen was extremely excited. This place is truly tailored for me. Immediately he didn't stop or continue forward. Although it was extremely difficult, he still completed 5 rounds of Python Scale's power in a row. At this point, he was almost exhausted. It took him nearly an hour to do it only 5 times in this strange place. At this time, Su Jingzhen had already stopped and sat cross-legged in the thick fog. But the forces in the dense fog seemed to continue to gather actively into his body. The sensation of heat once again emanated from the labor palace acupoint in his right hand and the surging spring acupoints in both feet. It felt like his blood and Qi were beginning to nourish him again. Before long, he had fully recovered. At this point, Su Jingzhen could sense that the blood and Qi in his body had become significantly stronger. Although he hadn't immediately broken through to the second level of flesh-body spiritual embryo, he knew he wasn't far from it. After fully recovering, Su Jingzhen calculated the time and decided not to continue. Whether it was body cultivation or alchemy, he still needed to follow a gradual process. If he managed his body cultivation time properly each day, it would bring endless benefits to his physical body. It was like nourishment. If the intensity was too high for a day, it might backfire and harm his foundation. Of course, the main reason was that he was afraid that if he stayed inside for too long without going out, Luo Yuebai might become anxious and gather the evil moon sect cultivators to search for him. That feeling wouldn't be too good. As Su Jingzhen walked out along the same path he had come, back to the location where Zhang Ziyu had carved the words, he saw Luo Yuebai about to walk in his direction. However, Luo Yuebai looked somewhat weary at this moment, his gaze carrying a hint of persistence. What Su Jingzhen didn't know was that Luo Yuebai had already walked through the entire gorge 3 times from this position. Now he was about to set off for the 4th time. Not finding Su Jingzhen for 3 times, without sensing any breath, let alone finding the peculiar place Su Jingzhen mentioned, Luo Yuebai was also becoming more determined. Even when he saw Su Jingzhen emerging from the thick fog ahead, Luo Yuebai's expression froze for a moment. "Friend Luo, what are you doing?" Seeing Luo Yuebai's somewhat weary appearance, Su Jingzhen already guessed the general situation. But at this moment, he still asked with pretended surprise. Seeing Su Jingzhen appearing safe and sound in front of him, Luo Yuebai was even more shocked. This proved that the peculiar place mentioned by Su Jingzhen was most likely real. And his cultivation couldn't detect any abnormalities. Luo Yuebai felt a sudden sense of frustration in his heart. But he also believed in the fact that Shuangjiang was secluded in the gorge. Although he was shocked internally, his expression remained calm. Has friend Su handled things? Is Miss Shuangjiang all right? Hearing Luo Yuebai's question, Su Jingzhen secretly smiled. She is fine. There is no need for friend Luo to worry. That mysterious place is quite important to my wife, and I may have to come here frequently to do some things in the future. Before Su Jingzhen finished speaking, Luo Yuebai took the initiative. Friend Su is welcome to come anytime. Just let me know and I will personally accompany you. Miss Shuangjiang's cultivation cannot be delayed. At this moment, Luo Yuebai didn't think that his actions were too proactive. Of course, it was also because the impact of the previous events on him was a bit too much. Emotional connection +2. Remaining usable points, 115. Just when Su Jingzhen didn't want to be polite to Luo Yuebai, a line of small golden words appeared in front of him. His heart became even more complicated. In the empathetic relationship with Luo Yuebai, Su Jingzhen indeed seemed to have some initiative. But every time the points increased, he still found it a bit difficult to accept. Not long after, the two returned to the Evil Moon sect. The sky had not yet begun to darken. Su Jingzhen's mood once again returned to its original calmness. After closing the door, he took out 10 sets of breaking through adversity pill ingredients. I believe that today is a good day, and it is the day for me to be promoted to the 2nd rank. As he once again immersed himself in alchemy, Luo Yuebai conveyed several orders. Immediately, many cultivators from the Evil Moon sect headed towards Clear Wind Mountain once again. Hiss! In the room, there was an unusual sound of flames coming from the pill furnace. The medicinal herbs being refined inside instantly turned into ashes. A hint of burnt smell permeated the air. The 11th attempt at the breaking through adversity pill ended in the expected failure. Su Jingzhen's expression remained unchanged. At this moment, his heart was extremely calm. He gained experience in the breaking through adversity pill through every failure. What a strong burnt smell, and there seems to be a hint of medicinal fragrance in it. Is he refining pills inside? Xianxia stood outside Su Jingzhen's courtyard at this time, not daring to approach. But the smell emanating from inside could already be clearly smelled outside. Her expression once again became complicated. Xianxia, although not awakened to spiritual roots, was not ignorant. So he's actually an alchemist, no wonder so many people value him. As Xianxia muttered to herself, she couldn't help but smile bitterly. I must be blind. Even though her parents were convinced that she had a special physique, the current leader of the Evil Moon sect couldn't confirm it. And now she had fallen into a servant girl, completely unaware of her future fate. In the cultivation world, even if one might have extraordinary potential, with her current situation and her lowly parents, changing her fate would still be extremely difficult. After sighing, Xianxia could only sweep from here to the outside with a broom. After Xianxia left, Luo Yuebai once again entered Su Jingzhen's courtyard. He sat down in the pavilion in the courtyard. Naturally, he noticed that Su Jingzhen had started refining pills again. It seems that friend Su is indeed breaking through to a certain grade of alchemist. He didn't go back to Clear Wind Mountain himself. He searched carefully there 3 times but found nothing. Even if he searched 30 times, it would probably be the same. He obviously paid more attention to Su Jingzhen's current state. As the burnt smell continued to emanate from the small courtyard, time gradually passed. Nightfall quickly approached. At this moment, Luo Yuebai sighed softly. He knew that it was probably unlikely for Su Jingzhen to break through to the next grade of alchemist today. Just as he was about to leave without causing any disturbance, a pure scent of pills suddenly drifted out of the room ahead. It seems like a rich aroma of pills. Is this a 3rd grade standard? Luo Yuebai just stood up and was about to walk out, but suddenly stopped. He looked towards the room with a look of shock. Is it third grade or second grade? But this doesn't seem right either. The pill fragrance I smelled last time at Peach Blossom Alley was obviously extremely rich, clearly surpassing the third grade. Or is it that his success rate in refining first or second grade pills is extremely high, allowing him to refine a large quantity at once? Thinking of this, Luo Yuebai's eyes lit up again. He sat back down, seemingly wanting to wait for Su Jingzhen to come out. At this moment in the room, Su Jingzhen looked at the purple, round pill that had just flown out of the pill furnace. 80 portions of medicinal herbs had already been used up, with 40 portions consumed. At this 41st portion, success finally came. Out of the previous 40 portions, apart from those turned into medicinal residue, he only harvested 5 mediocre pills. But the breaking through adversity pill wasn't like the chireplenishing pill or the green spirit pill, consumables that could be casually used. It was unlikely that anyone dared to use these mediocre pills. It's finally done, although this time was a bit more difficult. From this moment on, I am officially a second-grade alchemist. As he muttered to himself, Su Jingzhen carefully took out a jade bottle and stored the breaking through adversity pill in it. At this moment, there were still 39 portions of breaking through adversity pill medicinal herbs in his storage bracelet. But he didn't rush to continue refining. As the saying goes, everything is difficult at the beginning, and those 40 portions of medicinal herbs were not wasted in vain. Now that he had successful experience, Su Jingzhen was confident that even if the breaking through adversity pill didn't reach 100% success rate, surpassing the average second-grade alchemist should be extremely simple. Although I have successfully advanced, this setback was not as great as I imagined. Perhaps when I accumulate enough points next time, I should consider raising my spiritual roots level again. His mysterious spiritual roots couldn't be considered outstanding. In Su Jingzhen's opinion, to maintain such a high success rate in second or even third grade alchemy, at least the spiritual roots needed to be upgraded to the earth grade. As he thought this, Su Jingzhen's gaze turned to the small pill furnace. He muttered to himself again, a good horse deserves a good saddle. Now that I'm a second-grade alchemist, this furnace seems a bit inadequate for me. This wasn't Su Jingzhen being arrogant. It was just that a good pill furnace could indeed improve the success rate and even the quality of the pills. And his current pill furnace was indeed a bit low grade. Su Jingzhen pushed open the door and saw Luo Yuebai sitting in the pavilion. Friend Su, did you succeed in advancing? Being unable to contain his curiosity any longer, Luo Yuebai asked directly. He believed that since Su Jingzhen was openly refining pills here, there would be no more concealment about his status as an alchemist. At least not in front of him, Luo Yuebai. It's not as impressive as senior Luo Magenes, just second grade. Su Jingzhen had nothing to hide about this. A second-grade alchemist was highly respected in a small place like Linjiang City, but in the Qingzhou region, it was somewhat ordinary. Upon hearing this, Luo Yuebai frowned slightly. Then friend Su must have refined quite extraordinary pills when advancing to the second grade, right? Of course, he knew that pills of the same grade could sometimes vary greatly in quality. Since Su Jingzhen didn't choose to hide his alchemy, he naturally didn't mind satisfying Luo Yuebai's curiosity. And he was destined to stay in the Evil Moon sect for a considerable period of time. Showing some things appropriately could sometimes be more advantageous to him. So he directly took out the jade bottle. Fortunately, I managed to refine a breaking through adversity pill. Seeing the breaking through adversity pill in Su Jingzhen's hand, Luo Yuebai's expression once again became astonished. Friend Su, are you sure you only just advanced to second grade? Su Jingzhen looked at him puzzled. In this regard, there's no need for me to deceive friend Luo. Hearing this, Luo Yuebai smiled bitterly again. Friend Su is truly extraordinary. Although I know nothing about alchemy, I have heard that the breaking through adversity pill is one of the most difficult types among second-grade pills. With friend Su's current level, even some simple third-grade pills should be within your grasp. Some cultivators may break through 2 realms in one go due to their opportunities, but it's the first time I've seen an alchemist advance 2 grades in one go. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the video and comment down if anything wrong in the story.